Everybody come and see. I say come and hear. I don't carry and come. Better information, superb advertisement. We no get it right far. Oh, to get update and get informed.
We are under the law of 1999 Constitution. If Jesus Christ comes from heaven to rule Nigeria with 1999 Constitution, Baba Jesus will fail.
Come to Celestia half hour.
Oh, Baba Tinubu is coming up with something.
So that's why they are rejecting it.
That's why they are rejecting it. Now, we have all it takes to make life better in Nigeria. And you can think of it. But these elites, these people in the cabals, they have ruined all these things. When you go to Niger Delta, you will see the farm towns named after Sanusi. Another one, Abubakar. You will see Malami. You will see Emma of Sokoto. You will see just like that. Hardly you will see Tamunotonye. Hardly you will see Segibo. Hardly you will see Umbrabra.
Celestia half hour TV. Now we be the best information carrier.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, our viewers around the globe. Tonight we have our father in the house. We have one or two questions to ask him concerning the issues around Nigeria. Before we move on, we would like to urge you to kindly subscribe, like, and share this program. And don't forget to click your notification button as it goes. Thank you. Our father, please say greetings to our viewers around the world, sir.
Come to Celestia half hour.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you have the privilege to hearing me at this period. I remain my humble self, Prophet Akinwumi Ayodeji. Enojo Celestia.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, first we would like to ask you, because it is coming to our notice now that the government is introducing another reform bill. Sir, how do you think this will affect Nigerians positively?
Thank you. That's a reform bill that President Tinubu came up with. He came up with it to reform Nigeria and to revamp the economy. But we are not sure of the direction and the dimension it will take, because most of their thing, when they come up with it, there is no due consultation. And it's like when they think about it this morning, they bring it up in the afternoon. Instead of working on it in the afternoon, before they bring it out in the evening or in the following day, immediately they do it. And that is why you see some atoms of lime, surfacing. When they surface, it becomes a problem that makes all the masses to lose, confidence in them. When I read through the bill, I found out that Tinubu had a very good, agenda for the nation. But for the fact that this nation is highly, highly corrupted, the child of God is corrupt along the line, so to say. The order of the day before this period is get to the seat, eat national cake, and fly away, because there is nothing called Nigerian. Nobody is born a Nigerian. We were born a Yoruba woman, a Yoruba woman, an Igbo man, an Igbo woman, Hausa man, a woman. That's only how we were made. Unfortunately, the amalgamation that came up, which Lord Lugard and his girlfriend did.
Do you call that the girlfriend?
Yes, the girlfriend is a woman that's named Niger area.
Wow.
She called it Niger area, which we call Nigeria today. Nígbà tó dúdú, àwọn ojú wọn là, bẹ́ẹ̀ tó dúdú wá dúdú. 1906 was when Awolowo was born, according to history. Then in 1914, he was a signatory to the treaty that lasted for 100 years, a century. Kilo Modemo, 1906, 1907, 08, 09, 1910,
Yes.
plus 4.
Yes, I guess that expired around year 24.
9 years. You brought a 9-year child to come and take a decision, to come and sign. That's under duress. A child that is not, who doesn't know the front from back, from right, left from left. You engage him to come and sign the treaty in 1914. And you wouldn't know. This is the reason that made me to say, okay, look at what these elites are doing. They knew what they're doing. The corruption Lord Lugard taught them is what they are still what putting up with. He taught the corruption. The only person that is a bit older among these people, I think, was either Azikwe or Tafawa Balewa. Because it involves these three guys: the Yoruba, the Hausas, and the what? And the Igbo. So it's like Azikwe is a bit older than Awolowo, or either Tafawa Balewa older than the two of them, so to say. I can't really picture because I wasn't yet born then. But according to history, which they have rubbish today in our what? Curriculum system in the school. No more history because they don't want us to know what has transpired in Nigeria. Whether they like it or not, Google will tell us.
Definitely.
You understand? So, Lord Lugard, the British, taught them corruption. Because he weighed them, he found out that the Fulanis and the Hausas, the Hausas, so to say, because there wasn't Fulani there. Fulani, they were what? They were herders who were walking about. They stayed in the bush, in the forest. Today they are now Ofagagbaga Peluasi. Àwọn ọmọ tó jẹ́ pé ọmọ onúgbó ni wọ́n, ọmọ inú ọ̀dàn ni wọ́n, tó ń da ẹ̀rọ káàkiri ojú inú aginjù. Wọ́n rìn gbèrègbèrè wá wọnú Nàìjíríà. Wọ́n ṣe kéde wọ́n displace àwọn Hausa. Wọ́n jẹ́ kí Hausa lẹ́nu bẹ̀ mọ́. They enthroned their emas, in strategic places in Hausa land. Today, Hausa has no mouth in the system. They are the people that are doing these things. I must tell you candidly, the corruption that Lord Lugard taught them by giving them guns in those days, that he found out that they don't have anything upstairs. They will be thinking like the monkeys, thinking like the what? Like the bulls. You don't look at it. he featured a gun to be given to them, that these people who behave like the what, like the apes, when they carry gun, they will be able to shoot those ones that are knowledgeable, those that are intellectuals, the Yorubas and the Igbos. The Igbos are technologically what? Endowed. The Yoruba are intellectuals. There are a lot of things going on in Yoruba land. As at that period, Yoruba was a good region. Everything you can think of, our culture, our what, our language, our beauty, oh my God, is to be written home about. Unfortunately, our ẹ̀mí àrìnwọ̀ wọ̀nyí, we call them ẹ̀mí àrìnwọ̀. They walk into us and destabilize us. From that white man, whose corpse will be blown in heaven with bomb. He amalgamated us together because they want to use us to build their own country. It's a business area. They amalgamated us to be a business area. And they now put a clause: if the marriage is not working after 100 years, you can do what? You can split. Unfortunately, somebody who is older, who gets old to 100 years, what can he do? Nothing. So, this corruption started cropping up, and it amounts to so many areas. So, like I was saying,
So we've been living on those bad thoughts they have taught us.
so all those things, the corruption is ongoing. And if a very hard fellow like Tinubu did not come in to what? To checkmate it, the yet unborn, the next 10 generations will continue wallowing in abject poverty. Because thief does not come to do what? To pamper you, to steal, to put you in a what? In a tight corner and steal away all you need and you have. That's exactly how it is. This we are talking about that walk into us, they destroy us. But God will not allow them. So there is no way they will not kick against you. Does it mean they don't know what is happening? When Malami came into what? Into power with Buhari, we saw all they perpetrated. We saw all they did. Now, this is what Nigerians need. This type of bill is what Nigeria need. You don't drink alcohol in the north because of your Sharia law, but the people that are producing hunting, that are drinking alcohol here, they will make the money and carry the money to your own state to spend. The last Obo in Idari is now using limousine. No more Obo in Nigeria. No more what else anymore in Yoruba land. So the elite in the north has been what? Pushing it that the reform should be abolished. Because they knew they are the brain behind the evil that is going on in Nigeria. Though Igbo le ní tiwọn lọ́wọ́, Yoruba le ní tiwọn, a le ní tiwọn lọ́wọ́. But sense of reasoning, it doesn't go with their own. Their own is to embezzle, get to the throne, eat national cake, and walk away. They don't want to know that there should be a provision for the others. And that's why you see poverty in North. It's so enormous, it's so much. Because they are airlines. They are what? They don't think of their younger ones. And so that is the reason I said that these people that are against the bill, the Northern Governors Forum, they were against the bill. The Northern Elders Forum, they were against the bill. The National Economic Council and Senator Mohammed Ali Ndume was against the bill, among others. They have spoken against it, that it should be withdrawn. But if you look at it deeply, if APC should do what is needed, as far as I am concerned, what is needed today to revamp the economy of Nigeria, if that country was still be in existence after Yoruba might have left, after Igbo might have left, is what I'm saying. All financial recklessness of the airlines, of the northern airlines, has to be checkmated. And their fiscal impunity should be what? Should be totally abolished. So that is why they will antagonize Tinubu. They will kick against Tinubu on this. They only want it to take effect simply because they knew that the misappropriation, of the national resources comes from them. When you go to Niger Delta, you will see the farm towns named after Sanusi. Another one, Abubakar. You will see Malami. You will see Emma of Sokoto. You will see just like that. Hardly you will see Tamunotonye. Hardly you will see Sekibo. Hardly you will see Umbrabra. Their indigenous name on those farm towns. But all are being owned by the Northerners. These are part of the things that this bill will take care of. So they have seen it that, Bola Tinubu is coming up with something.
So that's why they are rejecting it.
That's why they are rejecting it. Now, we have all it takes to make life better in Nigeria. And you can think of it. But these elites, these people in the cabals, they have ruined all these things with their self-centeredness, selfishness. Sincerely speaking, we have a lot of resources which we can put up with and fulfill future obligations. But unfortunately, the good for nothing Nigerians from that end. And they are in carcass. We're working against it, recklessly dealing, using, the masses' money for their selfish end. So it's a very funny thing. And that's when I look at it, I'll sit down and look at it and say, wow, those of us whose mother is selling clothes.
You wear rags.
We're putting on rags. I will let you do. I'll fit off Oduwa. Baba wan pamalu. O je slaughter. Anke gugumi. Their act of irresponsibilities from that region has put Nigeria in the present situation, she found herself. In a short while, the reform will be the beginning of efficiency.
You think so?
Which will lead to development. Of course, if there is efficiency efficient dealing, there will be what? Provisions. There will be development, of each region if it is being embraced. So, but they knew that Abere Bolowa Deteni Odete, if this bill is being passed into law. We are under the law of 1999 Constitution. If Jesus Christ comes from heaven to rule Nigeria with 1999 Constitution, Baba Jesus will fail. God forbid. Today, we are now celebrating failure. We don't celebrate what? We don't celebrate morals anymore. Allegedly, look at what was discovered of El-Rufai, though the FCC is debunking. El-Rufai's son. That is not the first one. We have recorded some in the past. They will be reckless in all they are doing, and they don't want the nation to move forward. So, in order not to draw the veil over, I have answered that question.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me quickly ask this, sir. Assuming that Nigeria have departed into the past now, sir, how do you think with this level of corruption they have acquired from British, how do you think Yoruba will be able to govern themselves?
Yoruba, we are knowledgeable people. We are intellectuals. We know what is fitting for everything we do. We know what to do at the right time. You understand? We know what to say when a question has been asked. Now, look at this. If we are ruling ourselves, I am telling you, we rule ourselves very well. Because
I think so.
ojú wa máa kára wa. Láyé àtijọ́ ńgbà tá a wà ní kékeré, tá a bá ṣe ohunkóhun tó wrong, táwọn àbábá ní ọmọ ta nìyẹn, a máa họ ni.
Sáré kúrò ń bẹ̀.
Because kò sẹ́ni tó fẹ́ jẹ́ kó kọ̀ lóhùn ó lé bàbá òun.
Ó bàjẹ́.
Ó bàjẹ́.
So,
tá a bá dé ilẹ̀ wa, a máa jẹ̀yà bí ọdún mẹ́ta. Bá tí wọ́n ti àdìbá ọ̀pọ̀ àmàlẹ́ pé ìyà tó lọ́jọ́ ni.
Ibi ìbàyí ló máa dé stop.
Ibi ló máa stop. So a farada yàtọ̀ sí ìwé ìta wà náà ẹ̀sìn. Nísìn alàgbà Tinubu nígbà tó dá epo dúró, subsidy dúró.
Subsidy.
Wọ́n ló increase owó tó allocate fún state. Èmi ń gba 3 billion tó lé fún ìtọ́ ń gbà tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀.
Wow, really?
Ṣùgbọ́n àwọn gómìnà ń kó jẹ́ àwọn gómìnà wa tó ti kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lọ́wọ́ Bìrìtìkó. Tí ẹ̀jẹ̀ British ti ṣe kíni?
Tó ti wọ̀ lára.
Tó ti wọ̀ lára. Ìṣe British ti wọ̀ lára. Ìṣe olè lọ Lugard tó ti wọnú ẹ̀jẹ̀. Nígbà tí wọ́n yẹ pé tó rí bá fọ́ wọn ní Nàìjíríà bí wọ́n sá lọ sí Britain, United Kingdom, wọ́n fẹ́ lọ gba kíni? Treatment. Àfàìmọ̀ kọ́ máa ti ilé ti kíni kò lò sínú ọpọlọ wọn náà ṣe lè ronú straight wípé wá owó tó yẹ kí masses lò. Ẹ wo ojú ọ̀nà ní Nàìjíríà, ẹ wo àwọn locality wọ̀nyẹn, ẹ gbé mọ́tò sí every time lánàá ná 150,000. Lánàá sí mi ìwọ̀n bí tó àwọn ọmọ mi lọ fi mọ́tò mi gbà tí bóyá jíà ló bá nǹkan kan lójú àwọn ọ̀nà gbogbo tó kọ́ra ọ̀dà àkúta sí wọ̀nyí. Wọ́n gba location lọ́jọ́ wọn lọ kókúta gidigidi wá wọn kò sójú ọ̀nà kí òkúta yẹn tó lè jẹ bọ̀ mọ́ ilẹ̀ ó ti bọ̀ pọ̀lọpọ̀ mọ́tò jẹ́. Olóòtú ó ti bọ̀ pọ̀lọpọ̀ mọ́tò jẹ́ tó jẹ́ pé it's not easy. Alábọ̀ yóò gbọ́dọ̀ bú kí ni kẹ̀kẹ́ máa ń wá lórí wọn àfi gidigidi ó máa yí wọn ṣubú ni. Ó lè jẹ́ gbígbéra yẹn owó tó yẹ kó ń lò fún gbogbo ènìyàn. Gọ́ọ̀nà yà kẹ́sì kìíní á lè sáì fún ẹ̀. Nígbà tí Buhari wá commission project tó ṣe lóṣòdì, ó ní I was aware pé ẹ máa gbé memo jáde ẹ máa bọ̀ allocation dídé ẹ kó $200 yẹn $200 million lẹ̀ àbí ẹ kó $100 million ẹ kó sílẹ̀ lápò yín ẹ kó sílẹ̀ sí àpò yín àti sẹ́ fi $200 million sílẹ̀ sápò yín ẹ kó $100 million lé local government chairman lọ́wọ́. Èyí ni reform tí alàgbà Tinubu kọ́kọ́ ṣe tó fún wọn ní autonomy pé kán stand alone ìyẹn local government bóyá ojú wọn lè tó àwọn kan wọ̀nyí tó ń ṣe tó yẹ kó ṣe at the right time ṣùgbọ́n still òkúta ló kó wá o alàgbà Tinubu òkúta ní local government chairman ní kó wá o òkúta àwọn ọ̀nà tó yẹ kó fi asphalt ṣe kí gbogbo everywhere kó dán kó wà òkè òkúta ribiti iná kó wá wọn kò dájọ́ síbẹ̀ ìfọ̀ kó tó spread ẹ̀ pápá nílé lóṣù kan kó tó spread ẹ̀ sójú ọ̀nà.
Àti eruku lójú ọ̀nà kù gbogbo irun afunfun ni kéèyàn tó délé.
Àti ọ̀pẹ snow oríṣi méjì ìkan brown ìkan white tìlú òyìnbó white tìlí brown.
It is well our father.
Wọ́n páàkì mọ́tò síta bẹ́ẹ̀ náà wàá rí snow ti Nàìjíríà dust ni àbò kan lẹ̀.
It is well daddy. It is well.
So àwọn kan tá à ń parí ewu ọ̀nà yìí a fẹ́ kí ìlú dára kí ayé kó sunwọ̀n fún everybody kí mùtúmù wà lè ní kíni ó fẹ́ láti jẹ́ ènìyàn lórílẹ̀‐èdè wọn torí wípé àwọn tó ń dùn mí ni pé we were not all born Nigerian òun ló fà tẹ̀lé wípé they will go in there and eat the national cake and leave wọn ò fẹ́ mọ̀ bóyá generation tó ń bọ̀ bóyá wọ́n máa ní nǹkan tó yẹ kó ṣe sílẹ̀ fún wọn kó máa lé ìlè lórí.
Bàbá mi mo yó.
Mi ò mọ̀ bóyá ìyà ń jẹ mọ̀ nìkan kan. Àtọ́ àwọn kan wọ̀nyí ó jẹ́ nǹkan tó máa ń kọ mí lóminú nígbà míì tí mo bá wò ó wá. Tí mo lè pariwo kan fún Àlàbá Tinubu lọ́jọ́ yẹn wọ́n ní mo mọ̀ pé o ní èrò rere lọ́kàn láti ṣe. Jẹ́ kó yá kíákíá má jẹ́ pé don't procrastinate. Béèyàn bá pẹ́ lórí mi èsìké ṣáṣekínní àbámbẹ́ ẹ̀sà this is what I think you should do. Àwọn tó advice yín wọ́n lọ́gbọ́n o ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n slow ẹ jẹ́ kó jẹ́ wà lórí tábìlì kí everybody máa jàjẹ́ yó ọ̀sán alẹ́ òwúrọ̀ kó jẹ kó yó kéyìn máa ṣe reform yín lọ kò ní sẹ́ni tó máa rí yín pé ẹ̀ ń ṣe nǹkan kan bàtà ìjọba máa ṣe kíni àti jẹun yóò ikùdírí rẹpẹtẹ àti mẹ́yìn lẹ́bẹ̀ẹ́ láti sùn ìgbà tẹ́lẹ̀ bá ti sùn lọ yẹ kẹ́sì kíni kẹ́sì reform yín kẹgbà gbogbo àwọn tó wà nínú house of reps àríkẹ́lẹ́ ìmọ̀lẹ́wò ẹ jẹ́ ká rí sí wọn ẹ jẹ́ kí transparency wà bí transparency bá ti wà ní ìjọba ẹ wo irú information tí mo gbọ́ ẹ̀ sí pé ẹ increase owó wọn by 3 billion èmi ń gba 3 billion nígbà more than 3 billion along the line kò sí èyí tá a gbọ́ nísàlẹ̀ bí òun lè ṣe ní táwa kí ní táwa so much critical about asking you to do the normal thing. Èmi ló mọ̀ mọ̀ pé kì í ṣe pé ẹ̀ lérò rẹ̀ Olúwa fi hàn mí pé ní èrò rẹ̀ fún Nigerians. Wọ́n kàn jẹ́ pé ọbẹ̀ bọ́mọ yẹn mọ́. Ọmọ yẹn ṣe kí ni ọmọ yẹn ti rí owó pọ́yà. Àwọn tẹ́ ẹ mẹ́gbà àwọn ọlọ́run sọ fún mi lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ pé ní ìgbà yẹn náà pé wọ́n ní jẹ́ kó ṣèjọba. Tẹ́ ẹ bá tètè ṣe kí ni kẹ́ bring them to book kẹ́ ṣe kí ni kẹ́ ṣe kó fi yẹn kó rinlẹ̀ dáadáa àwọn tó bá ti ṣe kí ni tó bá ti ṣèbàjẹ́. Kọ́ ta wọ́n ti àgbá kọ́ ṣe kí ni kọ́ tírígà ẹ̀.
Sàdádì ẹ má bínú ẹ jẹ́ ìbéèrè lẹ́yìn kíákíá ṣé wàá rò pé tí gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ ń sọ yìí tí ó bá rí bẹ́ẹ̀ tí pírẹsidẹ́ǹtì wa tó ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ yìí tí ó gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣé rò pé ó possible kí àwọn Biafra tún ń rò lẹ́ẹ̀kan rántí pé ó rà pé.
Ìyẹn Ọlọ́run ló fẹ́ pé Nàìjíríà ohun tá à ń sọ yìí ariwo tá à ń pa yìí sí ni fún àwọn tó kù ní Nàìjíríà Yorùbá ti lọ.
Àtà ló wá kù.
Hello Biafra ti lọ Yorùbá ti lọ. Àrẹwà nìkan ló pa àwọn kọ́lẹ̀ tí agitate nílùú Àrẹwà náà sì pé àwọn náà ń lọ. So ohun tí mo kàn máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni pé kólúkọ́ dàbí kan tí ọba Adéyẹmí tí wọ́n sọ ọba àṣà àti èdè nínú fọ́nrán kan tí mo rí ó ní kí gbogbo wọn pátápátá kí wọ́n fìmọ̀ ṣọ̀kan tẹ́lẹ̀ bá declare bí Biafra ṣe declare ní Finland tí Yorùbá declare l'Amẹ́ríkà tí Arẹwà
táwọn bá
declare
UK lọ
ní Australia wọ́n á mọ̀ ìwé tòótọ́
àwọn pípé ti ṣe tán.
Ọlọ́run ti pín nǹkan ẹ̀. Ṣé ẹ understand?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
So ẹ̀rù tó ń bá àwọn ethnicity kan sí kejì wípé wọ́n lè gbẹ̀yìn pẹ́bọ jẹ́ òun ló fà á tí ìbọn wọn tó dábẹ́ pé wọ́n declare kí ní ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kan. Because ẹ wo bọ́lọ̀ ṣe wá nílẹ̀ Yorùbá Ọlọ́run ṣe wá dáadáa náà kò sí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ tá a rí ìwọ fi kí ni lọ má gbàdúrà sí ìwọlẹ̀ báyìí kójú ti ẹ̀rọ sí fẹ́rẹ́fẹ́rẹ́ bó bá tẹ̀ sójú kó kàn bó ẹ kó fi ṣe kí ni kó fi wẹ́ẹ̀tì lẹ́bẹ̀ láàárín ọjọ́ mẹ́ta ó ti rò jáde ó ti mú èrò jáde láàárín oṣù mẹ́ta ó ti gbá àgbàdo hánu. Obìnrin kan mo gbọ́ ìbẹ́ òní àgbàdo nírú èmi yìí sí mo yá jáde síta ní December ìbẹ́ ní àgbàdo mọ̀nà mẹ́jọ ṣé àgbàdo ṣe ayé ló ti gbé ọ̀run ló bá láyé ló ti gbé àwọn ẹlẹ́dàá ò bá mi tà wá kíákíá mo gbé hánu lọ́sàn-án yìí ìyẹn lọ́sàn-án yìí gangan.
You have a blessed land.
And it's as beautiful as sweet as anything. Ṣebí nǹkan tó bá yé èèyàn gbà mìíràn èèyàn rò pé bó ṣe rí rèé láyé àtijọ́ a ti fọkàn sí pé January to March ló yẹ ká máa gba àgbàdo la máa ń gba àgbàdo nílé nígbà yẹn náà láì kò tẹ̀ mọ̀ pé kò sígbà tí ò wà conclusive lórí ilẹ̀ wa. So the fact remains the same pé ẹ wo bí òní mo gbọ́ tí àpapọ̀ sọ pé láyé báwọn bá ṣe fẹ́ làwọn máa ṣe. There is no going back for that reform. Mo gbọ́ nígbà tó mo wò ní fúnra kan ó dàbí pé fúnra yẹn wà níbí báyìí ọ̀dọ̀ yín náà ni mo ti wò ó ẹ bá mi gbé fúnra yẹn sí kí gbogbo Nàìjíríà kí wọ́n rí nǹkan tí Alàgbà yẹn sọ níbẹ̀ yẹn. Torí ó jọ mí lójú wípé àwọn northerners they were against the bill. Tó bá jẹ́ bill tó máa wọ́n pẹ̀lú irọ́ ti pọ̀ jù ní.
The Arise News last night.
Is that the television or radio?
Arise television news. And what was reported was that this hallowed chamber had suspended further consideration of the tax reform bills before the Senate. The reporter even invited the governor of Nasarawa State and pointedly told the governor that now that the Senate had withdrawn, he used the word withdrawn, these tax reform bills, which Arise News described as conundrum, suggesting that they were confusing, they were problematic. What would you say, Mr. Governor? Are you happy that these bills have been withdrawn? And the governor said, I am not just happy because the bills have been withdrawn, but I'm happy because this will now give us a chance for all of us to discuss. Sir.
Arise News.
Yes, sir.
Asked the governor of Nasarawa State.
Yes.
Whether he was happy.
Yes, sir.
That the tax reform bills
had been withdrawn
by the Senate.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, what am I trying to say here? We do not move from one TV station to another. The privilege that we have is the floor of the Senate. This is where we do our deliberations. This is where we make the law. This is where we do effective representation of our people. And if you have issues to clarify, this is also the floor that we have, rather than issuing press statement. Mr. President, we just passed our votes and proceedings. We have just passed our votes and proceedings, which is a reflection of our deliberations of the previous legislative day, being yesterday. Nowhere in our votes and proceedings was it stated that we suspended further deliberations on the tax reform bill, because we did not. And I felt it would be important to place on record that this Senate did not suspend
or withdraw.
I will address that later, sir. This Senate did not suspend and does not intend to suspend deliberations, consideration of the tax reform bills. As to withdraw, Mr. President, this is simply my response. It was a misunderstanding of legislative process for anybody to have even reported that we had withdrawn the bills. The bills were executive bills transmitted to us by the executive arm of government through the office of Mr. President. It's only the executive arm that can withdraw these bills. They are not private member bills sponsored by any senator. So no senator is going to withdraw the bill. And there is no reason for these bills to be withdrawn. In a legislative process, it is normal that some people will have concern. It is normal that people will sit around those concerns and discuss. That is why, in its wisdom, this Senate, in referring this matter to the Senate Committee on Finance, gave them as much as 6 weeks. Our instruction was that deliberate, organize, public hearing, and submit your report not later than 6 weeks. It might not be up to 6 weeks, but if they choose to be up to 6 weeks, nobody will quarrel with them. 6 weeks is long enough in a country that wants progress for a consensus to be reached. For anybody who has concern to sit down and allow such concern to be addressed in overriding public interest. And in any case, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, we are continuing with the deliberation, with the consideration of this bill. We took all I expected the media to report yesterday, which was well reported by some sections of the media, was that the Senate, at its plenary session yesterday, took a further legislative action in the consideration of the bill. And what was the further legislative action that we took? From northwest of Adamu Aleros, through the north central of Abamoros, to the southeast of Oji Kalus, we drew out people, distinguished senators, from each geopolitical zone, and we constituted them into an ad hoc committee to, on our behalf, further interface. We were clear about what we were doing. The Senate Committee on Finance is in charge of public hearing, but we set up an ad hoc committee as a further legislative action to, on our behalf, interface. Even the president of the country, called on us to please, interface with the office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, which ordinarily also would have done in our public hearing. But even then, the executive requested for that. And we have set up an ad hoc committee to do that. So while the Finance Committee is working on its timeline, planning for the public hearing, we want this committee to also quickly engage. And the Deputy Senate President, yesterday, in announcing this committee on your behalf, also said the ad hoc committee should treat this matter with urgency, with this power, and that the meeting should start from today. As a matter of fact, Mr. President, the meeting started yesterday. So the essence of what I am saying is that it's important that members of public are patient with us. They understand the legislative process that we have to follow. They understand our role in the Constitution. Any attempt from any quarter to intimidate the Parliament will be undemocratic, and we will not allow ourselves to be distracted. But we will encourage consensus, we will encourage discussions, engagement at all levels. But we cannot be bullied into adopting a certain procedure. As far as we are concerned, the tax reform bills are alive in this hallowed chamber. They are receiving consideration at various levels, and we are open to discussions, to negotiations, to interface. But let it not be said anywhere that we suspended further consideration of these bills. And also, it would be laughable for anybody to also think or say or report that the bills were withdrawn. Because, like I said, there are executive bills that can only be withdrawn by the executive, and there's no reason to do so. because these bills we believe are in overriding public interest, and will do everything possible to ensure that across geopolitical interests, across, political parties, across every religious interest, everybody that has concern, civil society, everybody that has concern is given a chance to contribute to the passage of these laws. I thank you, Mr. President, and I conclude by saying that the tax reform bills for us are a work in progress, and we have the next 6 weeks to do this and finalize and pass it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Celestial Half Hour TV. Now we be the best information carrier.